India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Bharatiya Janata Party, the BJP, have grown obsessed with a shiny new label lately, Bharat. They wave it around like a magic wand, claiming it will resurrect some long-lost glory and cement India's place as a global powerhouse. Yet this whole Bharat rebranding reeks of desperation. A flimsy attempt to paper over a fractured nation with fairy tales and bravado. Let's peel back the curtain on this Bharat Empire fantasy and see what really drives it. Hollow nostalgia, political theater, a stubborn refusal to face reality. The word Bharat comes from Hindu legends, a vague nod to ancient tales that sound grand but crumble under scrutiny. Historically, it has never been a real political entity, only a fuzzy religious idea floating in mythology's ether. Modi and his pals in the RSS, that nationalist outfit, dig through these old stories, hoping to stitch together pride. It resembles South Korea's bizarre claim of a tan gun founding their nation thousands of years ago. Pure fiction dressed as fact. Modi's crew takes it further, mimicking the fascist playbook with eerie precision. They echo Hitler's obsession with Aryan purity, chasing a mythical past to prop up their ego. India isn't some Asian Germany, strutting with discipline and might, but more like Asian Italy under Mussolini. Loud, puffed up, brittle as a dry leaf. Modi isn't Hitler either. He's a wannabe dictator with a showman's charisma, none of the substance, relying on slogans, stunts to dazzle the crowd. The so-called Bharat Empire gets tossed around like an invincible legacy. History begs to differ. This glorious empire spent centuries bowing to outsiders. Persians, Greeks, Mughals. Take your pick. The Islamic Mughal dynasty alone ran the show for hundreds of years, leaving Hindu nationalists with little to brag about beyond bruised pride. They'll point to Bollywood flicks like RRR, where heroic warriors defy physics, logic to crush invaders. But in reality, India got trounced by the British, barely mustering a whimper. The modern nation only exists because the British glued its pieces together, not due to grand ethnic unity. Today, Modi, the BJP peddle this invented past as a narcotic, numbing India to its shaky foundations. It's a sad, laughable spectacle, watching a country hype itself up on myths while the world smirks. India isn't just a Hindu playground, no matter how much the Bharat cheerleaders wish otherwise. This sprawling nation of 1.4 billion emerged from British colonial patchwork, stitching together Muslims, Sikhs, Christians, more, none of whom are footnotes. Muslims alone number over 200 million. Sikhs fuel movements like Khalistan. The South bristles under Northern dominance. If Modi's serious about reviving Bharat, he might as well hand Tamil Nadu, the Northeast states, Punjab their own flags. Call it a day. The South especially gets a raw deal. They pump out tax revenue, only to see crumbling roads, patchy power in return, stuck carrying the North's dirty, chaotic, poor stereotype globally. Bharat isn't unity. It's a flimsy mask for North Indian Hindu bullying, doomed to split under its own contradictions. The BJP leans hard on Hindu epics like the Mahabharata to sell this Bharat vision. Yet those texts overflow with wild exaggeration. Flying chariots? Sure. Ancient satellites? Why not? Some diehard supporters even claim India invented AI millennia ago. A leap so absurd it's almost performance art. This isn't confidence. It's insecurity dialed to 11. A nation so desperate to feel big it insults basic reason. The world doesn't buy it, chuckling at India's expense. Yet Modi's government either shrugs, exit on. They'd rather spin tall tales than fix real problems. A glaring sign of how little they offer beyond smoke. Mirrors. Indian media. The BJP slap Bharat on everything these days. From Green Bharat renewable energy summits to Bharat digital revolution forums. It sounds lofty, but dig in. It's all hot air. Empty buzzwords with no meat. In 2023, They pushed hard to ditch India for Bharat at the G20 summit, plastering it on signs, speeches, parliament. The public shot it down fast, turning it into a global punchline. This sums up India's elite, addicted to grand promises, flashy gestures, allergic to actual work. Whether it's India or Bharat, the name doesn't change the game. Poverty, potholes, power cuts still rule. They're just handing the world more material to laugh at. The ugly truth Bharat can't hide is the caste system, baked into Hindu culture, still tearing India apart. Low castes, Dalits, millions strong, face daily humiliation. Worse, locked out of dignity by a tradition Modi won't touch. He's busy at temple ribbon cuttings, posing as a holy man while charlatans rake in cash from the faithful. The BJP crows about India being the world's biggest democracy, but that's hollow when half the population's treated like dirt. It's a hypocritical farce, a stain on any claim to modern greatness. Yet Modi keeps smiling for the cameras, banking on divine optics over human rights. The loudest Bharat fans often hail from the bottom rung: slum dwellers, low-caste workers, scraping by on pennies. They're the ones cheering Modi's con, funding temple scams with their meager earnings. Their lives are grim, sewers overflow, schools collapse, clinics are a joke, but they're hooked on the fantasy of India as a superpower. It's a bizarre split. Dirt poor, yet swaggering with pride. Weak, yet bellowing strength. Bharat doesn't fit this nation. Bragrat does. A perfect tag for a people who boast loudest when they've got the least. Modi's their Pied Piper, leading them nowhere with a tune they can't resist. This Bharat push isn't new. It's simmered since Modi took power in 2014, with the RSS whispering in his ear. They've got a knack for rewriting history, cherry-picking myths to paint India as a golden kingdom wronged by time. The Mughals? Foreign devils. The British? Thieves of destiny. Never mind that India's borders, its very existence, owe more to colonial map-makers than any ancient king. The BJP spun this yarn so long it's almost gospel among their base. A fairy tale where Bharat rises invincible. The world's moved on, though nobody's buying a reboot of an empire that never existed. Modi's not the mastermind here. He's the frontman, a salesman with a knack for optics. His real talent lies in playing dress-up. Saffron robes one day, slick suits the next, while the RSS pulls strings behind the curtain. He's less a leader, more a mascot, trotted out to sell Bharat to a crowd too dazzled to ask questions. Compare that to China, where leaders build chip factories, flood global markets with phones. India's stuck on symbolic wins. A new name, a temple here, a statue there. It's a cheap trick, the cracks showing every time Modi speaks. The Bharat Empire dream hinges on a past half made up, ignoring a present falling apart. Take the economy. India's GDP per head lags behind neighbors like Bangladesh. Yet the BJP brags about overtaking China someday. Infrastructure's a disaster. Trains derail, cities flood, while Modi's busy renaming streets, airports. The military's no better. They flex missiles on TV, but soldiers lack boots, bullets. Bharat sounds fierce until you peek at the ledger. A nation outpaced by peers, too proud to admit it. South India's fed up. Who can blame them? Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala churn out cash, talent, only to watch Delhi squander it on northern handouts. Vanity projects. The South's cleaner, better run, yet branded with India's mess abroad. Bharat doesn't speak for them. It's a northern power grab, alienating half the country. Add the Northeast, where tribes barely feel Indian. Punjab's Sikh unrest. This unified Bharat looks like a pipe dream held together by duct tape. Modi's media machine churns out Bharat hype nonstop, from TV pundits to Twitter bots. They'll slap it on anything, a road, a vaccine, a solar panel, and call it progress. The 2023 name change stunt flopped, but they're still at it, tossing Bharat into every speech like a cure-all. It's not pride, it's vanity, a desperate bid to look big without lifting a finger. India's elites love the game, addicted to headlines over hard work, blind to how silly it sounds overseas. The caste mess keeps Bharat from meaning anything real. Modi dodges it, cozying up to priests while Dalits die in ditches. Literal ones, cleaning sewers by hand. The BJP's democracy pitch falls flat when millions can't vote without fear, eat without begging. It's a sham, a shiny wrapper on a rotting core. Modi's too busy posing to care. The world sees through it, pegging India as a loudmouth with little to show. Those Bharat diehards at the bottom are the saddest part. Packed into slums, they cheer Modi's every word, dreaming of glory while rats gnaw their walls. They've got nothing. Healthcare's a myth. Schools are shacks, yet they'll fight you over Bharat's honor. It's not Bharat they're living in. It's Bragrat, a land of loud boasts, empty hands. Modi's their Pied Piper, leading them nowhere with a tune they can't resist. Bharat isn't a revival. It's a distraction, a shiny toy for a nation too scared to fix itself. Modi, the BJP can slap it on every billboard, but it won't hide the truth. India's a mess. A name change won't save it. Call it what you want. India, Bharat, Bragrat, the world's still laughing. The joke's on them.